My name is Monkey D. Luffy. I'm here to show what I do. I'm aiming for King of Pirates. It's time to switch and get two. Conqueror's hockey. Who can stop me? Just one look and it's through. After the gum fruit, I'm just all over the news. Some say I'm missing the screws. Sometimes I think that it's true. If it wasn't for my squad, I might be dead in East Blue. But don't think I'm straight dependent, cause my grinding is true. Where they put me through hell and back just so my dreams would come true. Zoro, Nami, and Usopp. Yeah, you know we a squad. Sanji, Chopper, and Robin. I won't put y'all aside. Frankie, Brook, and Jinbei. Yeah, y'all really my guys. Straw Hat Crew. Yeah, we solid. Yeah, we fight for our kind. Dang. I really need to bring it up. I miss my brother Ace, we used to live it up. And just for me and him, I'ma make it just for us. And Blackbeard, just wait, cause you gon' see what's up.
Hope you enjoyed the intro. And yeah, as you see by the title, it's different today. Instead, you just Grace. Okay. Instead of is Deku, it's what if the Straw Hats, right? And we are very close. We are let's see. If that's 60, let's see. We're about like 91 off. No, 31 subscribers off. So yeah, thank you guys for the support and everything. But yeah, as you saw, this is what if is it? Not what is Zuku. I gotta stop saying what is Zuku. But what if Luffy slash Straw Hats was the name of Jay? Yeah, tired. Okay, it's not even that. It's not even that late right now. It's only what 8. Yeah. And let me run down some stuff real quick before we start. So let's begin. Nami has a quirk that pretty much lets her map out things really well. Right? She doesn't have to put it on paper. She could just see from her quirk, right? Where everything is, pretty much like a layout, kind of in a way. Layout type of quirk. And yeah. Luffy does not have a quirk. He ate the devil fruit. It's very rare in this world. Zoro is quirkless. Robin ate. Robin just has a hand type of quirk, right? Let's see. Sanji has a quirk where he is really good with his feet. Pretty much he's just very strong with his feet and everything. Frankie has a quirk where... Hold on. Okay, Chomper, I'll get into him. Frankie has a quirk where he turns more metal, you could say, in a way. Boa will be in this also. So, yeah. It's great. Hers is pretty much, I'm so sorry. Is what is it? Trying to remember. Pretty much what her abilities are, like turned men to stone, and she's really strong at kicking. So yeah. The ship, if you guys want, the ship will be Nami X, or Luffy X Nami X Boa. If that's okay with you guys. If you guys want me to add any amateur characters, please tell me. So yeah. Luffy, Zoro, Usopp. Oh yeah, Usopp will have a hold up. We'll have a intelligence quirk, so yeah, that's why he makes gear and everything. And Chomper will look like this. Right? And yeah. And when he uses his quirk, he'll turn into his furball, and this is Sanji, obviously. Have that in real life, dude. I would eat that for lunch and dinner and everything. So yeah, let's begin. Jesus Christ, what is going on? Okay, let's begin. Yeah, why not? Yeah. Jeez, dude. Okay. Okay, here we go. Let's begin now. For real this time. So, we start off with Luffy being born. His father left his mother, and his mother died of an illness, let's say. And they left him when he pretty much this happened when he was about 3. Right? I don't know when Luffy's parents died, it's kind of been a while since I've watched the first episode and everything, so yeah. Music will be in the background, I should say. So yeah. Ooh, it's not even cold in here anymore. That's good. But yeah. And he got picked up by a man with red hair. And also... Sorry. And also, pretty much, with scars on his eye. Like 3 slashes on his eye. So yeah. Let's continue. He takes Suzuku home, and yeah. Okay, I was just thinking something about the series. So yeah, let's continue. And yeah. Now let's do about 8. So I said he was about 3 when they left him. Let's do a 3-year time skip. He's 6. And Luffy knows that he doesn't have a quirk. And let's say one day, the man with red hair came in, and everyone yelled, "Shanks!" Right, with excitement in their voice. And he said, "Hey guys." And then he said, "Luffy, come here." Right, and Luffy came over, right, and he's like, "Yeah, Shanks, what's up?" Right, all happy and everything. And he says, "I got you something. Remember those legends I told you that, or not legends, the fruit that are very hard to find in the world, right?" And he says, "Yeah, the ones where you can't swim after you eat them. What were they? Devil fruit, right?" He says, "Yes. For me, well, I have something." And everyone's caught on except for Luffy. And everyone was shocked about what he pulled out. And so was Luffy when he pulled it out. It was the devil fruit. The gum gum devil fruit. Alright, and everyone says, "There's only a few devil fruits left out there. How did you find it?" He says, "I was just on the shore, and it washed up in a chest." "Were there any more?" He says, "No, there wasn't." And they said, "It's disappointing." And he says, "Yeah, it is." But yeah, let's continue. And let's say he said, "Okay, Luffy." Actually, I'm gonna put away music because I want to play my game. I want to play a game. So yeah, he said, "Luffy." And Luffy came up running and said, "Yeah, what's up, Shanks?" Again, right? He says, "Yeah, Shanks." Right, in a happy tone. He says, "I want you to eat this." And everyone was kind of silent. And that's when Luffy said, "But can't it kill me if I..." Right, can't it just kill me? Sorry if you hear sound. I'm using my phone as a light where I could find Overwatch and so I could download it and play it. There it is. Right, and he says it could. "But you're strong-hearted, aren't you?" And he says, "Yeah, I am always strong-hearted. I want to be the king of the heroes." Right? With a... Give me a second. Okay, back where we were. Sorry, I had to do something. Anyways, and Luffy's scared. He doesn't want to eat it, kind of. But if he wants to have some abilities to be strong, he'll do it. Shanks had it in his hand, and Luffy grabbed it and took a bite. You hear this crunch from it, and Luffy's face started turning purple a little, you could say. And he's kind of choking on it. Or, no, actually, nothing really looks weird. Yeah, because nothing happened to him like that. He swallowed it, and they're wondering if it worked. So, Shanks did the best thing he could. He grabbed Luffy and put him upside down. And all of a sudden, Luffy's head hit the ground. Oh my god, I just figured out why Luffy's so retarded. Shanks dropped him, so... Shanks dropped him. If you get it. And my dog went to go lay down over there. That's literally his spot. Sam, come here. Come on. Come here. Okay, you want to go back downstairs? Give me a second. Hold up, I'll be right back. I'm right here. Give me a second. But yeah, like I was saying, pretty much he ate it, and yeah, and everyone was surprised that it worked. It didn't kill Izuku. I mean, Luffy. Oh, Jesus. Okay. But yeah. And he thought, let's say Shanks was impressed. And he said, okay, Luffy, let's see what you could do. Right? And we're gonna time skip to... So I said he was about 8? No, he was 6, right? Yeah, I said he was 6. And, yeah. Let's say at age 8, Luffy's kind of is halfway as strong as, let's say a regular Luffy in the anime. So he's coming up with the ideas of gum, jetto, pistol, and everything, okay? And yeah. And... let's say about... Okay, yeah, so he, let's say, is 8. I think I said that, but I don't know for sure. I'm kind of getting out of topic right now. Or losing. But yeah. And... yeah. Let's say they're in the forest right now. And... Shanks is saying, let's go, Luffy. You gotta keep going, right? And right now, Luffy's on the ground, pushing the hardest he can. Right? Yeah, pushing as hard as he can. And he's like pushing some stuff out of the way and stuff. And yeah, let's say out of nowhere, a bear came out and started trying to kill Luffy. Right? And Shanks got in the way of it, and the bear ripped off his arm. And let's say Luffy was shocked that he on the way, and Shanks scared off the bear with this feeling of death or some type of feeling that Luffy withstood it, and it was like a look at the bear, and the bear was knocked out. And then let's say Shanks was in shock that Luffy withstood that. And I'm not gonna give it, and I'm not gonna say it what it is. You will know what it is. Just don't say in the comments if someone's new to One Piece and stuff. So yeah. And yeah. Let's say Luffy's crying. He says, Shanks, why did you do that for me? Shanks, right? And Shanks says, hush, it'll be okay. I did that because I'm a hero. You know that too. And yeah, Shanks is a hero in this universe. and he's crying still, and yeah. Time skip to about when about pretty much Izuku's age, right? So yeah. And Luffy looks like this now. Right? And let's say that he's running late to school. Right? He's running late to school. And he's using the gum. He's stretching his arms around to get to school, and people could see this, right? And they're wondering if that was his quirk that he was just using. And yeah, he got there just in the nick of time, coming through a window, and it was like this, right? And he said, "Oh, hey Nami," right? And she said, "Luffy, what? Why were you almost late again?" Right, blushing, because he just pretty much right in her face. And he says, "Sorry, I kind of lost track of time." She said, and let's say a boy with green hair says, "Luffy, he says, Luffy, were you eating again? Stuffing your face?" And he says, "Maybe, Zoro." And he says, "God, Luffy, when will you ever grow up?" Right? And Nami says, "Hey, be nice, Zoro." Right? And they're yelling at each other. And the teacher says, "Okay, children, that's enough." And yeah. And yeah. And let's say at this point in time now, they're talking about how they kind of it's like let's say about 2 months before school ends, right? And yeah. And the teacher says, "Y'all gotta start thinking about your future and everything, right? You gotta start thinking about your future and what you want to do, right?" And then she says, "Well, but I do all know that you all want to be heroes." And she throws some papers up, right? And yeah. And everyone starts writing down what schools, and yeah. She says, "Well, let's begin our lesson." And she just talks about some history. And yeah. After class, he started running down to the lunchroom, right? Because it was time for them to have lunch. He ran up to the roof, right? And at the roof, he's sorry. Well, let's say that pretty much Sanji comes up finally, and Luffy says, "Sanji, do you have my food?" Right? And he says, "Yes, Luffy, I have everyone's food." And then he looks at a girl with black hair. He says, "Oh, hey, Robin," right? He says, "Robin, my darling," right? And she says, "Hello, Sanji." And they said, "Oh, Robin, you're behind us? You got out of class too?" And she said, "Yeah, I just got out." And she says, "Oh," and they say, "Oh, okay." And yeah. And yeah. And then they see a boy with a long nose, and another person that's tall, blue hair, and a third person that is skeleton. And Luffy says, Rook, Frankie, Usopp." And then he noticed a horn. a reindeer type of, or a boy that kind of had a red hat, but with a reindeer horns on it. And he says, "Oh, Jumper!" Right? And he said, "Oh, hey, Luffy!" Right? And yeah, and they all said, and they all sat down pretty much, and they're laughing about their day, how their school day is gone, and yeah, and let's say while they're eating, an announcement comes on, and it says, "All students, please hide somewhere." And all of a sudden, everyone was frozen, right? "All students, please hide." And I'm very sorry if this is sensitive, but I kind of want to, I was thinking about adding this part, but I decided I will. But if you are sensitive, please skip for a little bit, because this is gonna be like probably about a minute or so ish. No, not a minute. It will be a little bit. So yeah, they say there's a person inside the school with a weapon, right? Please run or hide. And yeah. And this person pretty much, but and they noticed that some people were running up the stairs, and they got up here. And they got on the roof now. And there was some other students in the school. And yeah, they closed the door quickly, right? And now they're waiting to be quiet. And it's quiet. They think everyone's got inside. And everyone has. And all of a sudden you hear 2 gunshots and you hear yelling. It was from people, but the thing is, it was from a loud person, right? That was saying, "Come out now," right? "We won't hurt you, we just want to use you as hostages," right? And the police are outside, surrounding the school. And you just hear multiple, and it's like about 10 people, right? You have people running up the stairs, right? And let's say all of them wanted to go up to the roof to see how many police officers were down there. So you hear loud footsteps, and that's when Luffy said, "Everyone, get behind there now. Get behind the door entrance," right? Because when you get up there, there's like a roof, right? There's a roof where you could, like, say if you're going up the stairs and you open the door, there's like a little building behind it, pretty much. So yeah. And everyone hid behind it, and yeah. And they just hear these 10 people come out, and they're watching, and they're saying, "Huh, there's about 30 of them. Yeah, we're gonna need hostages quickly." If they refuse, you know what to do, guys. Right? And they said, "Yeah." And they started to walking down, and let's say one random student dropped a book, right? And they heard it. And they said, "Come out," without looking at them. And that's when Luffy came out, and Nami tried to grab him, and he came out and smiled. He said, "Hello," right? He says, Are you visitors here, or what?" And the man is laughing. He says, "Did you not hear your announcement?" He said, "No, we're on the roof. We can't hear it," right? And he says, "Well, we're a danger for you students. And since you're out here, we'll just use you as a hostage, right?" And Luffy said, "Oh, a hostage? Huh?" Right? And he's smirking. Then all of a sudden, the smirk went away. He said, "Well, first, you're gonna have to get through me." Right? And they're confused. and all of a sudden, Luffy's arm went out and punched two of them. And they said, "He's attacking! Take him out, quickly!" Right? And it took out about two people, let's say. And he said, "Jet, pistol!" Right? And he took out another, right? And there's multiple of them now. There's multiple of them. Right? And let's say Luffy is fighting and Zoro comes out with 3 swords, of course, and says 3 sword style, dragon slash, right? I don't know if that's a move or not, so yeah. He says dragon slash, and he took down 2 people, right? And yeah, and let's say it took, and there's only about 3 left, let's say, right? And they're all scared about these kids, and they said, "Please, please, spare us," right? And Luffy came, and it was just Luffy, right, and Zoro that took these people out, and they said, "Nah, we're good," and they dropped them, right, and yeah. Right, yeah, and they knocked them out. And then let's say Luffy yelled off the building and said, the criminals have been taken down. Please come up quickly before they regain consciousness." And the police rush in now, right? And they run upstairs and they see Luffy pretty much surrounding these men, right? And the men are out cold, and women, I should say. There was like 3 women, and the rest were men. And yeah. And yeah. And yeah. And but yeah. And let's say they said, "Good job. Who took these 2 down?" And Luffy and Zoro stood up and said, "That was us, sir." And they said, "Good job." Right? And they said, "Can we ask what your quirks are?" Zoro says, "I'm quirkless, sir. I just use my sword styles I learned over years." Right? And he says, "Oh, well, you're a very strong quirkless person. Thank you for protecting people. And you, sir?" He says, "My quirk is like a rubber, you could say." Right? And yeah. And they give them like a few medals, you could say. And yeah. And yeah. And let's say, about a month later, right? It's their final month in school. A girl comes, right? there was introduced to, pretty much she said, now class, we have a new student for the last month that we have here. And everyone says, ooh, who is it, right? And they're all wondering, oh, what's her quirk and everything. And yeah. And let's say, give me a second. While I was doing, looking up some stuff, right? We did get a new subscriber. So now we're at 172 now. I didn't even know that we got a few more, but yeah. Again, thank you guys. You guys are massive support to me. You guys are my community. And yeah. And the teacher says, come in now. And this girl with this snake comes in. And all the boys are drooling now. Right? Except for Luffy and Zoro. And let's say also Frankie, if I'm right. Doesn't care. Yeah. Frankie and Usopp. No, Usopp, I don't care. And you just have Sanji, Brooke, drooling also. And yeah. And she noticed mostly about Luffy, how he didn't care really. She said, the teacher asked, well, can you tell us what your name is? And she said, yeah, my name is Boa Hancock. And all the boys said, hello, Boa Hancock, sit by me, please. Right, except for Luffy and the people I just said. So yeah. And yeah, pretty much. Let's say class ended and all of a sudden teacher or they had to go to a swim class, and everyone came out, and Boa came out like this, right? All the boys are blushing. Nami came out like this. The boys are just meh, shirtless, shorts, you know. Nami is blushing about Luffy, of course, and Luffy just has his smile, and he also has his jacket on, so has his sun hat. Right? He just has shorts, pretty much how he would originally kind of look like. So yeah. And yeah. Let's say, hold on. Okay. Let's say, I'm trying to think. Yeah, and they had to swim, and Luffy didn't like this, right? And he's told everyone in his friend group that he can't swim because of the fruit. And so Luffy just sits down. He never signed up for this class, so he doesn't have to swim. And let's say he was just pretty much sitting down, taking a nap. And yeah. And let's say the girl, let's say, sorry. Oh, wow. I'm so sorry. I'm just looking at something. Or watching something. But yeah. Let's say some random boys picked up Luffy, and no one's noticed this. Picked up Luffy and threw him into the pool. Right? And everyone saw this. Zoro was instantly moving, but the new girl Boa jumped into the water, and went to go help him. And Luffy woke up and he noticed that he's in water. He's drowning. And when Boa tried to pick him up, he was heavy in the water. A lot heavier than he looks, right? And she's struggling. And Luffy's losing breath a little. And then Zoro came in to help, right? And helped and they finally got him out. And he said, "Who did it? Who threw him in the water?" Zoro screaming yelled at everyone. And let's say Nami says, I think it was Nami, she said, "I saw them, it was them," right? And yeah. And Zoro went to go pretty much to go beat the shit out of them. And Luffy grabbed him and said, "Don't worry about it," right? And he got back up, and he said, "I'm gonna go get dressed," and went to go get dressed, pretty much. And yeah. And everyone, pretty much, his whole entire friend group was pissed. And yeah. And yeah. Let's say, trying to think. Sorry. But yeah. Well, let's say, that when he's getting changed, no, after he got changed, pretty much, right, was just waiting, and the class ended for everyone else, and Zoro ran out quickly and said, "Are you okay?" and everything, pretty much his whole entire group. And Boa also walked over, and she said, "Sorry I couldn't get you out faster." He says, don't worry about it." And she says, "If I may ask, why are you how light are you?" He says, "Oh, I'm only about, let's say I said he's like 15 now or something. About 120 pounds. Yeah, I'm gonna say 120 pounds because that's what I am. And I'm just 13, so I feel like that's kind of reasonable and stuff, so yeah." And she says, "Well, if I could, why are you so heavy in the water then?" Right? And Luffy's, you can't see Luffy's eyes because they're covered now. And Zoro pulls out a wooden katana and says, "That's kind of personal, you know." Right? And she says, "Oh, I just asked, I didn't mean to." And Luffy got his fist ready and punched Zoro in the stomach. Right? And everyone else was shocked, and he said, "Zoro, I told you about this. Be nice okay?" He says, "Sorry, Luffy," right? He needs kind of coughing up, or he spit out some blood, right? He went to spit out some blood. And he said, "I'll tell you after school." And yeah, let's say it was raining outside, and Bo was kind of having more affection towards Luffy, right? And yeah, let's say in one of their classes, they had to take a yearbook photo, or they had to get a photo, right? And the school's called the Grand Line Heights School, because I like the name of it. And pretty much, you have these photos of them, and when Nami had it, because let's say Nami was just hanging out with Zoro, so that's why it was like this, right? And Sanji was also, so yeah. But she still likes Luffy, because yeah, it's just shit. And in one of the image, when Nami and everyone else got the book, they just see Boa like this to Luffy, and Luffy doesn't know what's going on at all, right? Let's say he was also eating in this image, right? And that's when Nami was smirking like she was pissed. You know what I'm talking about, those type of smirks or smiles. And everyone noticed this and led her off. And Nami went off to go find her, but the bell rang. And they all went home, and they usually all walked home, but since it was raining, they separate for that day. That's their schedule, really. And let's say Luffy was walking home, and Boa was right behind him, following him, right? And her snake was kind of small, well shrunky, let's say, and went onto her bracelet, in a way. Or, no, it's just, I take that back, her snake never came with her to class that day. So, yeah. And Luffy has this little charm on his bag, right? If you could see it, it's the Golden Mary. It's a little head. And yeah, he's using his bag as a umbrella from the rain. And then, all of a sudden, Boa covers him with her umbrella. And he says, oh, hey, thanks, Boa. And she said, hey, yeah, you never told me what's wrong, or what happened. And he said, oh, yeah, here. And he grabbed her waist, and she said, what are you? He says, oh, you want to be wet also? Right? And she said, no, I don't, but, and he said, then, okay, there should be no problem. Right? And she's blushing hard about this. And let's say when they got to or Luffy's house, he tells her what's happened to him. And she said, wait, let me get this straight. Someone found you ate devil fruit because you're quirkless, pretty much? And he said, yeah. And he said, it might change your respect for me, but if it does, it was nice getting to know you. Right? And he starts walking off, and she says, hey. And he says, yeah. And she goes up and pretty much grabs his face and says, I won't be mad at you, because you're cute, right? And Luffy started blushing about this now. And let's say Nami was like behind them, and she was mad. And yeah. And let's say a month later, right? School's ended, let's say, and they're talking, and they've all been training. They still talk and they hang out, but they also train. And Bo's kind of getting into Luffy's group, but kind of staying out of it, you know? And he calls them the Straw Hats, and everyone's agreed with that name. And he calls Boa a princess time. He says, when Boa comes around and he sees her, he says, oh, princess. He says, hey, princess. Right? And Nami gets mad at that, right? Her gets kind of jealous about that. And he calls Nami, what is it? He calls Nami his navigator, right? And she enjoys that nickname that he gives her. She cherishes it, really. Right? And, yeah. And let's say about a week before the entrance exam for UA, everyone's hanging out, even Boa's with them. And they see this boy with the blonde hair and explosions coming out of his hand, picking on this green boy that is already scratched by, they're guessing, the explosions. And they don't know what to do except for Luffy. Luffy instantly ran over to help, and let's say this boy with the blonde hair noticed him and used an explosion on him, right? And everyone said, Luffy! Right? And the boy that was vulnerable got up and tackled the boy down, right? Tackled him. And he looked up to see that Luffy was just scratched, and He said, "Oh, thank God." And he said, "Thanks, kid. You okay?" He says, "Yeah, sorry about him. He's he says he's a bully, right?" And he says, "Get off of him." And he says, "Oh, okay." And he says, "What are you You're listening to random strangers now, Deku? Is that how you are now, huh?" And he says, "Is that who you are now? Hey, see, you are just a weakling. You need help from other people." And that's when Luffy picked up this boy and said, "He needs help. You're the one that's gonna need help after I'm done with you, right?" And he kind of starts beating Bakugo viciously. And that's when, or starts punching him. He punched him once, and that's when everyone went to go stop him. Right, and yeah. They hold him back, and that was from one punch. He was kind of knocked out. Right, and yeah. Pretty much. And yeah. He says, "Kid," he says, "What's your name?" He says, my name is Izuku Midoriya." He says, "Well, Izuku, mine's Monkey." He says, "My name is Monkey D. Luffy. Nice to meet you." Right, and he says, "Oh, nice to meet you too, sir." Right, and yeah. Oh my God, just spraying. Not even good. But yeah. And he says, "So, you want to hang out with us for a little bit? And I could ask you some questions?" And he said, yeah, sure." And he runs over, and this boy the boy named Izuku looks at the the kid that's blind, and he says, "You're done, Bakugo." Right? And yeah, Bakugo's just on the ground now. And let's say some hero saw this. Let's say the hero, random hero going through my head. Okay. The random hero is going to be... I forgot again. Vladkin. There we go. Vladkin. And he rushed over to grab Izuku. And all of a sudden, you see Zoro look at him. And he says, "Do you need something, sir?" He says, "Yes, you. Boy with the straw hat." He says, "You, straw hat." Right? And he looks at him and says, "Yes, sir. Why did you hit that kid?" He says, "Well, he was bullying this one. Your name is Izuku, right?" And he says, "Yeah." He says he was bullying the kid named Izuku right here. And Izuku looks scratched and everything. And he says, "Well, that's their own business and everything," right? And giving them a lecture. And that's when Luffy stepped up towards him and said, "Yeah, that's their business? Okay, so what? Aren't heroes supposed to keep people insane or sane, right?" And that's when this hero of Lad King was quiet. And yeah. And he said, "Whatever, I gotta go." And they all walked off. And mostly at a beach, they were sitting in the sand, right? And Sanji got them some ice cream, let's say, right? He got them all pretty much like this ice cream. He helped make it. He got them one, even the kid Izuku, and he also got him an ice pack. And Chomper has like this little med box, because he always carries a bag with him with meds in it. And he's healing him, right? Or taking care of him. And yeah. And yeah, pretty much. Sorry. God, this takes a little bit to download. And yeah. Then Luffy asks, "So, who is that kid?" He says, "Oh, he's an old friend of mine. Then when he got his quirk, he started bullying me." He says, "Oh, I see. Your quirk, though?" He says, "What's your quirk?" He says, "I'm quirkless." And Zoro is laughing, right? And he kind of, and he says, oh, what's so funny, sir? He says, it's the funny thing is, I'm quirkless too, right? And he says, wait, you are? And he says, yeah, right. The only way I'm strong is because I train myself. If you want me to train you, honestly, I could help you get as strong as me. I can't teach you how to use swords. That I can tell that you aren't able to use swords like me. And he says, I see. And he's like, wait, you could train me to be as fit as you? He says, yeah. Shouldn't be that hard. Get you in a few places, and voila. You'll be like me in a way. Or kind of strong as me. Not fully, but yeah. Hold on. And he says, if you allow me, please, right? And he says, okay then. And with me, you will be with me now. And yeah. And yeah. And let's say the 10 months has already begun, I think I've already said. And yeah. Let's say, let's say about 2 months later, so 8 months left. Now let's say, 2 months left. Izuku's as fit right now, and Izuku's become really good friends with these people now. And let's say Luffy's running late to meet up with everyone, right? And he's exhausted in a way, and he finally made it, and he said, hey guys, right, and he's looking like this right now, with his big smile, and they said, oh, hey, and Izuku says, you're late, right? And he says, yeah, I got trapped in traffic, and everyone looked at him and said, traffic? And he says, yeah, they said, what were you doing? And now we're gonna have a little flashback of Luffy getting his ass beat by Shanks. He says, nothing. And Boa says, Boa blushing, and Nami also blushing, saying, Luffy, what happened to your, arm? And they notice that it's kind of bleeding. And he says, oh, Shanks did that. And Zoro said, wait, Shanks? Oh, I'm about to kick his ass, right? And he wants to stomp out, and Luffy grabs him and says, no, let's just have some fun. Right, and Chomper puts a bandage around his arm, and yeah, they're talking, and Suku says, can I trust you guys with something? And they all say, yeah, we've been friends for about, what, 3 to 5 months? He says, and Zoro says, yeah, I've trained you well, you could trust me. I think you could trust all of us. Why, though? He says, well, and Luffy says, well, if it's hard to say, don't tell us. But he says, well, the man I got something from said I could trust if I have people. I told someone about you guys, and he pretty much tells him about One For All. One For All, and everything about them. And they're like, oh, we see, huh? And Nami, let's say that Luffy says, so you could pass down quirks, right? And he says, no, not really, but for some reason he could, right? And he says, oh, well, I guess if you're telling a secret, I should tell mine. And he says, wait, you have a secret? And he says, yeah, I don't have a quirk, right? And he says, wait, but then what's all that ability that you could do? The one where you stretch your arms? And he says, oh, that's a devil fruit. He says, wait, you have a devil fruit? And he says, yeah, I do. And he's like, that's amazing. Right? And he's like, and he got out a notebook and started writing down devil fruit. He says, do you know what types of devil fruit there are, though? He says, there's there's about 10 or so still there, but I just have one. I don't know a lot about the others, but I do know mine though. And he says, okay, can you tell me about yours? And he says, yeah, mine is the gum gum fruit. And he says, oh, I see. And he writes down in his notebook, and they just have to talk about that. And yeah, let's say 1 month later, it's finally time for the entrance exam. No, 2 months later, I just noticed, yeah. 2 months later, it's time. They all group up, because it's the day that the entrance exam. And they're all walking together, and let's say, right, so yeah, pretty much. And everyone's known that Izuku's pretty strong with his ability, the one for all, right? And yeah. And let's say Nami and Boa are talking to each other, and their conversation goes like this. They're kind of they're in front of everyone talking about Luffy. And Nami says, so, you like him too? And Boa says, and she says, don't worry about it if you do. I wouldn't mind to share him with you. Right? And they're talking about Luffy and everything, and how he's so good. And let's say Boa says something about how she has, very weird, honestly, has a pillow of him, a little doll that she made, and yeah. And she said, that's kind of weird, but I have a little doll. Well, has he ever let you wear his hat? And she said, no, not really. Give me a second. And she shows her this image, pretty much, of her wearing Luffy's hat. Right? Just a few images of her wearing Luffy's hat. And then she shows her one like this. And she says, oh, where were you guys in that? And she said, oh, well, we were all at the beach, and he wanted to see if he could try to overcome the water, and that did not work. And she said, oh, you got him out. Zoro, of course, and Sanji. Those two are dumbasses, I swear. And then you just see Zoro arguing with Sanji about something. And yeah. And let's say, they're all there, and Luffy trips pretty much, and falls. And everyone just looks at him, and he raises his head and says, ow. Right, and Boa picks him up, or helps him up, and he says, oh, thanks, Boa. Or he says, thanks, princess. Right, and she's blushing, and she's like, don't worry, King. Right, and yeah. And yeah, pretty much. Sorry if you hear my sister, she's, being weird. Okay. Sorry, I was doing something. And let's say they all sit down and they're talking to each other, right? And let's say Izuku is sitting by Luffy, and everyone notices that Luffy and Izuku have kind of the exact same smile, but Luffy shows his teeth, and really the only time they see Izuku show his teeth is when he's kind of when he's fighting and he's enjoying it, or he's happy about it, they think. And they just always see Luffy smiling unless it's a serious fight, and he isn't. And yeah. Let's continue. And let's say about about an hour later, they start talking about the written portion, and Luffy says, "Okay, I could. This might be hard for me a little, right?" And Nami and Boa say, "Here, we'll help you," right? Giggling that they both said it together, and they notice that something's going on with them, and yeah, and let's say they were going, and every time Luffy gets stuck, the girls help him, and yeah, and he says thanks to them, and he respects all of them, and they were the first couple of people to get done. Luffy was waited, or still had some trouble, and they helped a little bit, or as much as they could, and yeah, and yeah. Let's say after everyone got done, or no, let's say they were waiting now, and they're just talking about how everything, how they're fighting, and let's say a boy with glasses is still working and is getting annoyed that these people are talking while people are trying their hardest to get this done with, right? And after everything was done, or after that happened, or the written, they started talking about the 0 pointers, and let's say Izuku was on his phone, right? And this what ticked off that boy the most. He said, excuse me, sir. And he said, and Mike, said came out. Like, of course, Mike was the only one that did it. And he says, yeah, is there something you need? He says, yes, about the robots, I think you're missing one. He says, oh, yeah, that one. Thank you. And then he turns around and says, you, can you please get off your phone or leave if you're not gonna try? And he says, oh, sorry, I was checking a message from my dad. He's been gone for a while. Right, and yeah. And Nami and Boa looked at this boy with disgust, right? And he didn't care. And he noticed how he kind of treated the girls like that. And Izuku was kind of mad. He says, oh, I'm about to beat this kid. Right, and yeah. Let's say they assigned to different areas, and Boa and Nami were assigned with Izuku. And Nami got permission to use something that Usopp made them. And yeah. It was like that lightning staff thing. You know what I'm talking about. So yeah. And let's say let's say they all got separated pretty much like I said, but they except for Luffy, and pretty much everyone got, so like it was like this. In one course you had Luffy, of course, Luffy, Boa, Nami, and let's say Izuku, right? And another you had Sanji, Usopp, right? Usopp and stuff like that. Or they're pretty much a lot. They were just paired up in like groups, and it was like this. Like I said, Chomper was with Usopp, Frankie and Brooke, and yeah. If I missed anyone, pretty much they're paired up together. So yeah. And yeah. Let's say that let's say that he was talking to Izuku about, he was talking to Izuku about how they should be careful about how they're attacking, right? And the girls are listening to also, right? And yeah. And yeah. And yeah. Let's say the boy with glasses came over and said, "You, straw hat boy," right? And he says, yeah, do you need something?" And he says, "You were very disrespectful in the written portion, you know." And he says, "Oh, sorry, I guess. I didn't think I was, right?" And he says, "Well, you were, right?" And Nami and Boa said, "Well, you were also too, right?" And they said, and he says, "Excuse me?" He says, "Well, you were disrupting the whole entire thing when you were talking also. Don't you think that's also disrespectful?" And that's when he was quiet. And yeah. And yeah. Let's say that pretty much, how did he find me? Sorry. That Luffy said whatever. And yeah. Izuku walked off to go comfort that girl again, and yeah. They were teaming. Sorry. But yeah. And let's say Mike says, "On your marks." They all get ready and go. And everyone from all the Straw Hats, right, were rent off. And yeah. And they've were working together. And yeah. And let's say they're ahead of Ida, this boy. I already said his name, Ida, right? And yeah. And let's say Izuku, no, Luffy said, "Princess, on your right?" And all of a sudden, a 3-pointer, she takes it out with her legs, and everyone thinks that she has a boost with her legs. And let's say the heroes, a girl with rabbit ears, kind of sees her, and it takes interest in her. Then all of a sudden, you see a boy try to hit Luffy from the back for stealing like some points from him, let's say, right? And she said, "Hey," right? And he looked and he turned into stone from her, right? And yeah, pretty much that happened. And she unturned him to stone, or that person to unstone. And Luffy didn't even notice. And let's say with Zoro, he's taking them out easily. With Sanji also, Chomper and Usopp working together, taking them out. Kind of scared because they don't want to get hurt or anything. Right? And yeah. And yeah. But yeah. And yeah, pretty much. And let's say all of a sudden you hear a big boom, right? Oh my god, that's annoying. But yeah, you hear this big boom. And yeah. You just hear this big boom and yeah. Hold on, give me a second. Yeah, and all of a sudden this big boom. Right? And everyone looks and pretty much you get that scene pretty much like this. You know those anime scenes where they flash between different characters, POVs, perspectives, and it's just what they are all looking at. And they just see this humongous robot. And Izuku, let's say, could use about 10% of it, of One for All, and he could spread it around his body. And out of nowhere, you see Luffy mad instantly. Right, hold on. You see him mad, and Izuku says, "Hey, what's wrong?" He says, "Look," right? And he sees that, or no, let's say Izuku looks mad, and Luffy asks what's wrong, and he says, "Look," and he sees Boa and Nami stuck, and and all of a sudden Izuku's face went like this, and he screamed, "Fuck!" Right? And all of a sudden you see him for a second, and he's gone, and you see steam coming off of him actually. Right? And he said, "Izuku, take them out of here." And he noticed that there's a third girl. He says, "Get all three of them out." He says, "Got it." And he got Boa and Nami and and a third girl out. Right? And you just see Luffy go, "Third gear," or you hear him yell, "Third gear, elephant gun." Right? He said, "Third gear." Blew up his fist. "Elephant gun!" All of a sudden, the robot's gone. In seconds, everyone was in shock. And Zoro and everyone else could feel Luffy mad and everything. Right? And he starts falling. Izuku went fast and caught Luffy. And he said, "Thanks." Right? And he says, "Yeah, you should have not done that. You're way too exhausted now." Right? And but yeah. And yeah, pretty much. And he's mad. And he pretty much caught himself, let's say. Right, he caught himself. And all of a sudden, you see another robot come out. Another one of those 0-pointers. And let's say on Zoro's side, he took it out with Sanji's help quickly. Got disposed of it. Usopp used a thing called Fire Phoenix and took it down. And they just took it down. Right. Oh, and I should have said Robin was just with Frankie and Brooke, and they took it down while Robin was holding the robot down. And yeah. And hold on. Yeah. And Luffy sees about two, and they just see there's more. And Luffy says, "Fuck," again, yells it out, and he goes he's a second gear. And you see him go, and all of a sudden you hear, "Gum gum, Gatling gun," right? And he's just hitting it over and over. And you see Izuku jump up from the bottom and take it down with hit it with the 10% over and over, hitting it over with him, right? And the girls are also helping. They take it down, and then they go see if everyone else is okay. because the zero pointers that came out were destructive damage, and everyone else took care of them, right? And all of a sudden, let's say Bakugo was in Zoro's area, right? And Zoro has tons of respect for Luffy, right? Like honestly, in the actual anime, in one scene, if I don't know if you're this far, but I'm sorry if I spoil this, but in one of the scenes, in about when pretty much they're trying to get back as a crew because they all pretty much separated because of some problem with a warlord, right? Sanji kicked him, and I swear, if Zoro was there, he would have killed Sanji. He would have just killed him without any regret. He would have killed him. Like, yeah, that's how much respect this man has for him. And he hears Bakugo saying, that damn weird fucking rubber kid thinks he's better than me. I could probably kill him in one blow, right? Or I could blow him to hell in one blow. And that's when Zoro says, shut it, right? And yeah, he says, what did you say to me, one-eyed freak? Or, not one-eyed. He said, what did you say to me, freak? And yeah. And yeah, pretty much. And Mike says, time is up. And it flashes between different people and everything. And and yeah, pretty much they said, if hurt, please go to recovery and everything. And when Izuku got out, or when Luffy stepped 1 foot out from the testing ground, he passed out, and everyone saw that, and they yelled, Luffy, right? They all rushed over, and Izuku said, hey, wake up, you can't die, right? He said, come on, right? And they're all around him, and let's say one of the heroes, let's say, Mirko came out and said, I'll take him, you all can't come, but you, girl, come with me, right? And she said, oh, okay. And she looked, and she said, girl, to Boa. And she looked at Nami, and she said, go. She wants you, go ahead, okay? And she said, okay. And they ran off. And she said, I liked your leg work. You're like me. And she says, oh, thanks. And she says, so. And Boa says, will he be okay? And he says, yeah, he should. He's not like dead or anything, he's just exhausted. Right, and yeah. Pretty much. And yeah. Nothing, and they pretty much pick them up and they get out of there. And let's say all of them are waiting for Luffy, and the heroes have asked them to leave, and they said no. And Zoro says, he's our captain, we don't leave him. And he says, what? But kid, don't you have a home to go to or something? Aren't your parents waiting? He says, we all live alone pretty much, right? And he says, God, kids are so difficult now, right? And yeah, they all stood by. And let's say it was like the night. It was about night, and they said, kids, you gotta go now. And they're all sleeping right beside Izuku's bed, and they said, fine. And yeah. Let's say the next morning in UA, right? Next morning, Luffy wakes up to Boa and Nami right beside him, right? And he's kind of blushing, but says, "Good morning, guys." And yeah, and everyone started waking up, and the teachers come in, and say, "Okay, it's time for." Oh, he's awake now. Well, now you're all able to leave now you're all able to leave. And they said, okay. And they pretty much left now. And let's say Vlad Keen. Right. Vlad Keen said, "Kid, you. Can I talk to you real quick?" And Luffy's in bandages, and he says, "Sure." He says, "Guys, just wait here. I'll be right back." He says, You're way too... What the hell was that? He says, "What do you mean?" Your abilities. I don't think those were quirks, were they? He says, "What do you mean? They're obviously quirks. They can't be." He says, "Do you know the thing called the devil fruit?" And he was frozen, and he said, "No, why?" And he says, "Don't lie to me, boy." He says, "Fine. Yes, I do know what the devil fruit is. Why?" He says, "Do you have it?" He says, "Do you have a devil fruit?" And he's silent, and he says, "Answer me, boy." Right? And let's say Nezu comes by and says, "Sorry," and he sees Azawa, or the Razor, I already said his name, Azawa, and he said, "Azawa, grab Vladkin for us." And Azawa grabbed him with his scarf and held him back. And he said, "I am so sorry about him." And he said, No, don't worry about it." Right? And he's like, No. We should have been watching him more, right? And yeah. Pretty much. And yeah. And yeah, and that's where I'm gonna end it, guys, actually. Thank you guys for watching. Actually, hold on. Yeah, actually, no, I'm just gonna end it. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. And if you guys want me to add anyone else, or just keep it as those two, please tell me in the comments. And yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. I'll go with you guys to the outro. And yeah, I should probably say the next video will probably be cheated on, or what if there was no rules. And yeah. And sadly, this is where I leave you. And as the radio demon says, goodbye.
Alright, gentlemen, I want you to repeat after me just how I do it. Ready? Rock turn.